What's good? Salute everyone. Good morning. Hopefully y'all up early in the morning. As the Marine Corps would say, up in the morning with the rising sun. We're gonna run all day till the day is done. I'll be over here briefly, man. You know, I got some business to take care of this morning. These people learn how to drive. All these lanes down here, you would think they know how to drive, for real. Up early in the morning, man. I just want to come over here and talk about, Carissa Shields' post-fight MMA debut. And so many people hit me in the inbox. And it's mixed. You know, for the hardcore fans, like myself, I have to put myself in there, of MMA, we look at it in certain ways. I give glory for going in there, doing what she's supposed to do, and getting the victory. There are some hardcore MMA fans that are saying, you know, a little bit of what I said yesterday on Elkin, on how a brown belt, she did not look like a brown belt. And, you know, if you look at her grappling competitions, she's a lot more aggressive on the ground. And plus, that arm bar she attempted, that arm bar attempt was sloppy. It was novice, and it's not something I can tell you wholeheartedly. She's never did an arm bar like that before, never. And the natural reaction, if you've been in MMA and you've been in there with some of the top names, you're not gonna let somebody beat on you like that. You're not gonna raise your head up. When people don't raise their head up, they don't want to be on camera. You know what I'm saying? She didn't want to raise her head several times over. From a different perspective, somebody who, you know, visit these gyms and also experience some of the proper technique myself. There's no way in hell you're gonna convince me, you know what I'm saying, that Brittany Elkin did everything she could have did as a brown belt. A brown belt, a true brown belt, would have treated that top position like they saying their ABCs. They would have treated that shit so simple. They already know what to do. You get top control, you fully mounted. Elbows. She had both of her hands posted on the mat, which really, you know, she didn't have to, because Carissa wasn't bucking that hard. But she could have rained down elbows. She could have landed some much better punches from the top position. There was just so many areas that, for her experience, I'm just keeping them 100. That's what I always do, and that's what I'm continuing to do. This is not a blemish on anything. This is what you call speaking the facts off the reality of a brown belt competitor. She is a BJJ competitor. Y'all get that in your head. Elkin is a BJJ brown belt competitor. She's competing amongst other BJJ practitioners. She's getting ready for ADCC. ADCC, y'all. One of the highest world champ competitions ever that you can achieve. She's preparing for that. Y'all better take that in consideration. Y'all moonlighters that's in MMA. And look, y'all can boost it up however you want. I give her all the credit in the world. But I'm talking about what Brittany Elkins didn't do. Ask anybody. Ask anybody in these schools. Ask anybody. The level you have to be to say, okay, you want to compete at an ADCC level. And they're going to tell you the way she completed, the way she executed that armbar on a novice BJJ practitioner. Come on, man. That shit was super sloppy. That's first day in the school sloppy. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that armbar would have left the grasp of Elkin in the competition. If she had someone beneath her with that type of experience and she executed that armbar, it's just period. Point blank. Your arm is gone. If you don't tap, it's gonna break. Tap or break. Tap or break. I salute the sister. I salute the GWOAT for going in there and putting in that work. I can't knock her for them giving her an opponent like that. I can't knock it. I can't knock her performance. Carissa did what she was supposed to do. You know? She did some things better, like when she was sat down. You know, she went in for a double leg. Carissa didn't quite know how to, you know, hurry up and slide in that underhook and try to stand her opponent up. You know, just some green mistakes. But she was composed. I looked at her face, she was composed. I know some people on Facebook was telling me some shit that actually compete. And I can't say they're actually wrong in a lot of their cases. But from somebody who understands and seen grappling competitions, it's white belts that wouldn't have let her out of that armbar. White belts will break your arm in that submission. White belts, people. White belts will break your arm in that submission. The armbar is one of the most basic submissions, but you can tell a person that actually know what they're doing form-wise by somebody who don't. And for her to be a brown belt, you have to understand how serious that is. That's serious. That's no amateur shit to that. That's serious experience. If you're a brown belt competing in grappling tournaments and you're getting ready for the ADCC. A lot of y'all cats, man, you love to talk boxing, but now you want to praise MMA because Carissa did it. Kudos to you. But it takes a lot more studying just to say, hey, let me get on here on this Saturday and talk about mixed martial arts because Carissa Shields went over there and won her debut. I salute her, man. But I'm going to tell you where it went a little bit bad for me and you know, when it comes down to combat sports. PFL was willing to give her an opponent that conformed to Carissa Shields' name. When CM Punk fought in the UFC, Dana White didn't give him a name to conform to the norm. He gave him a tough opponent. Mickey Gall went in there and subbed him out. He wasn't a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but he subbed him out with a rear naked choke. Easy. That's just the way it is. Ask anybody. What Vin Diesel say in Fast and the Fury? Ask any racer. Ask any racer. Ask any BJJ practitioner. And her professor, what's up, big dog? What's good, everybody? Her professor is respected. Anybody about that armbar attempt to allow Carissa Shields to basically transition into a more dominant position, you know, the black fan base or the black media, they aren't going to understand why I'm giving this breakdown the way I am. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna look at you and tell you like this: unless you put in the work I put in and study both sides of the genre of combat sports, if you want to get on my channel and talk MMA and break down as to why you believe that was a genuine 100% win, or we can talk about how she was just like boxing when you're building up your resume and it was a soft touch. That's all Brittany Elkin was. I salute Carissa Shields for her glory and going in there and looking way better than I thought she would. But y'all must understand there's levels. If you ain't never sat in no BJJ grappling tournament, if you ain't never set your ass down and watched the entire grappling event all the way to the absolute division, don't come talking to World Combat Sports and dropping shit in my inbox to my, oh, I'm hating on a sister. I ain't hating on nothing. I gave her love yesterday, and on the post-fight, I'm giving you the reality. The reality of it is that Brittany conform to the name. First of all, she was retired and she didn't have any plans of coming back to MMA. She didn't have any plans.
In half a mile, continue straight to stay on Georgia 124 North.
It would have absolutely did nothing for her.
Continue straight to stay on Georgia 124 North.
It would have absolutely did nothing for Brittany Elkin to win that fight. Because she's focused on
Continue on Georgia 124 North for 12 miles.
It would have did nothing, people. Hear me out. If any one of y'all, any one of you all, any media on here that claim they talk combat sports, and you want to dive into this MMA match with me with Carissa Shields last night, feel free to let me know. Anybody. It don't matter who you are, anybody. Y'all play MMA, and now Carissa want to jump on here. Y'all boosting this shit into the high waters. Yeah, I have integrity too. I have proof I attended BJJ tournaments. I totally understand. My knowledge is much more thorough than damn near 97% of y'all outlets that's on here that talk boxing. That's gonna sit up here and say, oh man, you hating. Nah, fuck that. I ain't hating shit. I'm telling you, just like boxing, how y'all build up your resume and y'all have soft touches, the same thing we witnessed last night. Let's keep it a buck. There's no way a brown belt is losing an armbar like that from a competitor who's not well versed on the ground. There's no way that Brittany, she's been in there with Kayla Harrison. She's taken punishment before. You trying to tell me she don't have a clue on what to do when she's taking punches? As a BJJ practitioner, why wouldn't you roll over and attempt to put Carissa back in your guard and work for a triangle from the bottom position? You're skilled to do that. Why didn't it work for back control? Why didn't you do something else to stand up on your feet? Anything. Transition to a more dominant. She can't mess with you on the ground. You just stood there curled up like a little puppy who just left the shelter and you don't know what to do out here in society. Oh man, I'm not used to this scenery right here. Nah, she's used to it. She's a mixed martial artist, man. I'm just keeping the buck, man. I dare any one of y'all niggas to come over here and talk that shit with World Combat Sports. You can talk all the shit you want about, well, we don't talk MMA no more. I don't want to do this. You don't talk boxing all the time. You don't talk mixed martial arts. So come on, pop up on my channel so we can talk this. Let's go from round 1 all the way to 3. You explain what you seen. You look on my YouTube catalog and it shows I've been to grappling tournaments. I've educated myself to know what I'm looking at. A lot of you don't even know the belt system unless you look it up on Google. And every belt system is different. It's according to who you're being raised under. Who's your professor? You might hear me say, oh, it's white, blue, purple, brown, black. Man, that's only a portion of it, bro. Brittany Elkin is a well-versed grappler. Well-versed, y'all. She's competing in grappling tournaments. People up here asking me what's the 3rd round fixed. Like I said before, listen and hear me out. Just like boxers have soft touches, I'm going to compare this fight to Regis Prograis and Ivan Redkach. Once again, I could care less if any one of y'all, I don't care how many subscribers, it's time to wake some of you niggas up If any one of y'all want to come on my channel and talk this MMA shit, now that y'all all big and y'all happy to talk about Claressa Shields, half of y'all don't even know what went on. You're just looking at the bout like it's a boxing match, and Claressa landed punches. She did good. I gave her props last night. I was respectful. But my depth of MMA knowledge is much more thorough than what I was processing than you all. Every time I mention a fix in boxing, people want to feel some type of way. But we see Regis and Ivan Redkach, and people are like, oh yeah, he quit. He quit that shit. He quit. He surrendered. What you think happened last night? Don't make this a black thing. Make it an MMA thing. I'm telling you what I seen. There's no way in God's given name that Elkin would have executed a sloppy ass loose armbar. She had full mount for the longest of time, plenty. She could have did so many submissions. It looked like at one time she was gonna she thought about choking her out from the side. I thought she would make some type of transition, go in side control, you know, but she didn't. She kept it very, very light when she was on top. Those punches that Brittany was landing from the top position was nothing. She wasn't even trying to, like, she could have went to the body and then went up top. She just up there, you know. Look how strong Brittany Elkin hips was when she was on top of Claressa. She took her down twice. She has strong hips because she's a grappler. Don't come up here talking about, don't talk about this. Just like y'all talk about boxing and y'all glorify all that shit that you know that looks a little strange. It doesn't have to be blatant like Regis Prograis and Ivan Redkach, but yesterday it was similar. It was similar. It's just Brittany chose to stay curled up like a little lost puppy when her skill set is much higher than that. It's much higher than that. I'm telling you. No brown belt, I know. Don't let me start getting brown belts on here. Give me assessment 1 through 5 on Brittany Elkin's armbar attempt when she's a BJJ competitor. Just give me your 1 through 5, 5 being the highest. A lot of them will probably say 0. I'm not even gonna bullshit you. A lot of them probably say 0. It's like, there's no way that shit is legit. I don't care what you say. No way that armbar attempt that she executed was legit, y'all. It was such bullshit. But I'm happy Claressa is 1-0. I'd rather see Claressa go in there and win rather than lose. That just separates the difference between PFL and the UFC. Real talk. It's a difference.
In 800 feet, turn left onto Main Street
What's
East.
the difference, y'all? Shit's real. Hold on for a split second, y'all. Hold on for a minute. Let me check what y'all got to say. Fixed fight, Carissa isn't that good on the ground. They told Brittany to take a dive in the third. Carissa loses to Kayla. Look, listen. We're gonna get on Kayla Harrison. All right. We're gonna get on Kayla Harrison. How do you lose on the ground, Carissa, but fight Kayla? How do you lose on the ground to Carissa, but fight Kayla Harrison? Absolutely. Shields did good. I'm not saying she didn't. Carissa needs to improve her grappling. King Mitch in the building. What's good? Salute. I'm out and about, man. Damn speed bumps. Hey, this is what I'm gonna give y'all right here. Anybody you hear that's out here, trying to say that was 100% legit, and they hardcore boxing fans, tell them to come see me. Because a lot of these cats want to say, "Oh, they talk boxing." Now all of a sudden, you hear these channels that want to talk mixed martial arts, and they speak on it as if they're covering boxing. Oh, they're punching here, they're kicking here. Oh, let me tell you who's so and so far. It takes much more than that. It takes much more experience than that to know what you looked at last night, to know what you actually seen and what's not reality when it comes down to mat time, people. It's not reality that you will have a full mount. A BJJ practitioner have a full mount, and you're just posted up there. You're not even, you're not even chest to chest. She could have passed guard. She could have advanced her position at any time on Carissa. She stayed in the full mount, just like you do a new BJJ student once they walk in there. So they can get used to moving around and adjusting their position from the bottom. That's just what you do to a novice. She could advance her position with the side control. It will allow Carissa to advance hers and try to either one, get up like she did. She let Carissa, first of all, you're not getting up that easy with a BJJ brown belt. You're not going to just stand up like that so easy and go on about your business. Stop it. Stop it. It's so many counters that Brittany could have done when Carissa made it back to her feet the first time and she was up against the cage. It's unbelievable. This is a brown belt. She could have rolled Carissa on the cage, used her body weight to bring her back down to the canvas, and she would have had dominant back control. She could have attempted so many submissions, but she just played around, treated like it was a sparring session, allowed to get back to her feet in the first round when it was fresh. Like she was fresh. She was fresh, y'all. And I'm looking at this, I said, okay, I'm being respectful. I said, Carissa looks strong. She's going through the motions, what they taught her at Winklejohn, this, that, and the other. And then I just have to bring it to your attention that, like in boxing, when you have individuals, fighting for their first time or making their debut, some fighters, not all, some boxers have soft touches. And what you seen yesterday is no different. It's no different. If Carissa Shields want to talk this MMA game with me, so be it. We can talk the MMA game. It takes more than 7 months to be in there and practicing mixed martial arts and then have a conversation. It's going to take more than 7 months. We can study the whole video from start to finish, and I can put the question marks right here. Why did that happen? Why did this happen over here? Why did that happen? Why was she just curled up in the third round and she wasn't even acting like she was in a bad position? Who does that? Who does that? No experienced grappler does that. I salute you, Carissa, for getting it in. I do. But now all of a sudden, these boxing meetings, they all about MMA now, because Carissa Shields went over there. Kudos to you. But I just say do better with the sport. If you're gonna fuck with MMA, fuck with it. Don't just do it because, oh, I have familiarity. Carissa from boxing went over to MMA. Now I'm wholeheartedly, I'm gonna do a couple of lives on mixed martial arts. And how far can she go? Let me get some views off this shit. I've been talking MMA long time. When they was like, oh man, he ain't a boxing channel. He talking MMA. Who cares about mixed martial arts? And then we have all these people tuning in to PFL. Now you should pay attention to it and respect it for what it is. You know, it's a beautiful art. It forces you from top to bottom of your physical anatomy to exert all of your potential abilities to strike your opponent. It provides you with all that, whether you're on your feet or you're on the ground. It's a beautiful art. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a beautiful, beautiful art. But Brittany just staying curled up like that and allowing Carissa to punch her, and she's not doing anything. Like, she's not trying to win. She's not reacting to the punches. She hasn't even taken extensive punishment for her not to throw back any punches. Fighters in the game, they understand what we seen yesterday. Fighters in the game understand what we just seen. They understand what we seen. But people on the outside, you know, if I come in here and talk my shit, they're gonna be like, you hating on them. I'm not hating on them. I just want y'all to be well informed. That's all. A person with 7 months experience apparently out-grappled a person who had years of experience. I don't believe it. who are you? I am the belt. Then most boxing fans don't understand MMA. You know, I have to look at it. It's up to me to educate them, because I've been talking about mixed martial arts for the longest on here in boxing. And you know, I tell you all the time, I don't go off views. I just rather the people that's there in my live chat be educated. And I'm educating you on the reality, the truth of what doesn't happen with a brown belt who is a competitive grappler. Listen to me. A competitive grappler to someone who isn't a seasoned white belt gets taken down like she did the first time. Carissa isn't getting back to her feet. No way. No way. Put Kayla Harrison in there. A judoka specialist, grappling. A lot of her wins is submissions. Olympian. Much more higher level, right? But just because you was a Olympic medalist doesn't mean you're a brown or black belt in BJJ. You have to earn that shit. You can be an Olympian and then step into a school and you're a white belt. They don't automatically promote you because you going in there and you telling them that you are Olympic medalist. You have to earn your shit. And I can promise you, everybody in that school that Brittany's trained in for her BJJ, along with her professor, understands what happened last night. Her professor's not going to be mad at her for that, because she was retired from mixed martial arts. He's not going to take a strike from her. He's not going to do anything. He's just going to say, okay, good fight. The students are not going to look at that shit like, hey, why you didn't do more? You know you could have beat. They know. They know she could have worked Carissa. She could have made it look crazy in there. Crazy, y'all. When she got that first takedown and Carissa got up and she was up against the cage, that's a no-no for if you in there with a brown belt. The persistence of a takedown from a grappler up against the cage is relentless. Relentless. It's relentless, people. It's no way that you're breaking the grip. It's no way, if you look at Brittany, how sloppy she had that body lock on Carissa Shields once she made it up to her feet on her first takedown. Hell no, man. First of all, you're not getting up. 7 months wasn't strictly grappling. Let's get that straight. 7 months was a collage of training regimes. It was a collage of training regimes that get her pretty much acclimated to the process of becoming an MMA fighter. So she said the first thing they did was go to the ground. Okay, they just gave her a sense of how that feels. You know, they put her in less dominant positions. They allow her to be there so she can work herself out of those positions. That's all that was. She wasn't BJJ etiquette the entire 7 months that she was in there. Come on, people. Come on now. That wasn't the case. Let's be honest with ourselves. That wasn't the case. They just got her, you know, let me put this piece together. Let me put that piece together. Let's work on your kicks. Let's work on your punches. Let's work on your wrestling, your takedown defense. Don't let me start pulling out the film. I won't even go to a brown belt. Look, I'll take out film. Look, I'll take out film on a teenager in a grappling tournament. Teenagers. I take out. Look, I will take out film on a teenager. That's a blue belt. That's competing in Naga tournaments. Teenager. They're way less than Carissa Shields that'll sub her out. No punches. No punches that'll sub her out. Teenager. Brittany Elkin was 32 years old, something like that. And she's just standing on the ground like, oh, hit me. Hit me. I don't know what to do. Just hit me. I'm just gonna stay curled up and turn my head the other way. That's called quitting. That's called quitting. Just like I spoke about before the fight started. So don't come on here talking about I'm hating and then talk about people don't keep it real. Let's keep it real. That was a soft touch. You ain't gonna get that bullshit out of me. Y'all need to start respecting what I do as a media outlet and understand I've been talking this shit forever and a day. Y'all just want to pick up mixed martial arts because you have a familiar name to interest you to do it. But yet, she went over there and did it, and y'all still don't know what you was looking at. You go, oh, she beat her ass. Look what she did. But you haven't sat in a BJJ tournament. That shit doesn't happen. BJJ tournaments, if you look at it, a lot of the damn matches, depending on what level you're watching, is on the ground. We're talking about, you don't see competitors just standing up, breaking the grip and resetting. Maybe on the high level a little bit, but you talking about a white belt to, let's just say white to blue. Let's say white to blue. A lot of the work is done on the mat, in the down positions. They're working in transition. They're thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead. You don't see individuals just, you know, basing, framing, breaking the grip, resetting. No, you see grapplers starting, some of them starting in a seated position. They want you to come and play with them on the ground. That's the whole process of it. If Brittany Elkin was that weak that she couldn't even hold Carissa Shields, who doesn't have 0 BJJ experience on a professional level, and she just allowed her to stand up like that? I mean, come on, man. You know, listen, I cheered just like the rest because I knew what I was looking at. I gave her much respect when the live was going on. But y'all who dropped that shit in my inbox and you want to have conversations and you're not willing to get on live about it, that's my point. Don't act like you're an expert in mixed martial arts and you're going to sit up here and say, Oh man, she beat that girl ass. Come on, man. She didn't beat her ass. Come on, stop it. Man, she won't be ready for Kayla Harrison in the next 5 years. Because Kayla Harrison has already won the tournament. Kayla Harrison is an Olympian just like Carissa, but in Judoka. You take Judoka, which is much more suited for MMA, it takes time. Look, a lot of judo practitioners, they suffer a lot of injuries. It's a tough sport. You get flipped. Plus you have to implement your grappling skills along with your judo throws. That's something Kayla Harrison will always have to her. Just like Ronda Rousey. But the one thing that separates Kayla Harrison from Ronda Rousey is her hands. Kayla Harrison is much more well-versed than Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey stuck to her patent. Get in close on the hips, get the takedown, and execute an armbar. If you want to see what a proper armbar is, and by the way, somebody give me the information on what belt Ronda Rousey was in BJJ. Of all the all the competitors that she stepped in there with and subbed out via armbar, somebody tell me what belt Ronda Rousey is in BJJ. Tell me how many competitions. Has she ever competed in EBI, SUG, IBJJF, ADCC? Has she competed in any NAGA? Has she competed in any of those? But she was subbing females out. Let me know what belt Ronda Rousey was when she was doing that. Just let me know. Because her and Kayla Harrison comes from the same damn background. But Kayla Harrison has worked on her hands. And she's not as predictable as Ronda Rousey. Rousey's boxing sucked, and that's why the sport caught up with her. Elkin, being 3-6, 3 professional wins, 6 losses. Her last fight, 2019, guess what? She had like 3 losses before that, right? That doesn't mean anything when you're taking a brand new fresh MMA competitor to go in there and you are a BJJ brown belt. Get it in your head, understand it, and know that there's levels. We have to have some integrity in this media shit. Y'all just can't click up when the conversation is nice on something that you can speak on. Oh, it's boxing. Nobody can fuck with me in boxing. I'm a boxing historian. I'm this, I'm that. And then you think, oh, it's mixed martial arts? Oh shit, Carissa's here? Let me talk about MMA. The invitation is there. All y'all up here that's trying to talk that, we have a new blossoming star. Look, understand one thing about that environment, and I'm going to close it out with that. Carissa Shield was the main event, something she was able to do outside of boxing. I salute her for being able to host the main event like that. It kind of takes me back to the zone when you had KSI and Logan Paul. There's a lot of guys on that undercard that was much more experienced than Shields and Elkin, right? And they was on the undercard. Being that they work for people, they had to keep their mouth shut. But the name itself, on what Carissa has earned in such a short period of time, allowed her to be the main event. All right? How many other main events she's going to be able to compete in, I don't know. But let me explain this to you. Her competition is going to be a lot tougher moving forward than it will a boxer. If she signed with PFL and they plan on continuing to have her on TV, her competition is going to have to stay around the level, the novice level for which she is right now. You know what I'm saying? That's just the facts. It's going to have to stay around that. If they want to build her up to 5-0, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool. But know this, you can build up all you want, but the division you in is very little. So watch what I tell you. In order for Carissa Shields to earn a championship, because PFL doesn't have all those WBC belts, the international, the intercontinental, the Mayan, the freedom belt, the oppression belt, the astrology belt, the Walmart belt. PFL don't have all those. In order for Carissa Shields to become a champion in the PFL, Kayla Harrison will have to be out the sport, injured, or move down in weight to 145, which Harrison is a big girl. She's very muscular. She's 9-0. I don't see Kayla Harrison stepping aside for Carissa Shields because they don't have that step aside money like boxing. They don't have that. But I don't see her taking a step aside to take a first L in a mega fight with Carissa Shields. Because like I'm telling you, both of these individuals are skilled on the Olympic level. Both of them are skilled on the professional level in mixed martial arts and boxing. But you're in Kayla Harrison's world right now. She's already competed in the tournament and won the entire thing. So if Carissa Shields is going to stay at 155, she's going to have to face Kayla Harrison. But let me let you in on another secret. Her and Kayla Harrison are pretty good friends. Carissa Shields and Kayla Harrison are pretty good friends. So I'm going to put this in your GPS. Give it some time. And let's see how the PFL maneuvers Carissa Shields and see if they even put her in a championship fight. Because in order for her to get a championship fight at PFL, she have to face some tough competition. What we seen last night is not a disgrace to the sport because it happens in boxing and MMA. If you watch my lives, I kept the same energy. That shit happens on both sides. What we seen last night was another example of name, politics, results. Names, politics, results. Logan Paul, KSI, same shit. Jake Paul, names, politics, results. How can you be 0-0 as a mixed martial artist and you're the main event? I can tell you why. It has everything to do with viewership, money, and chain of command. The chain of command says she's gonna be the main event, and all those other male fighters that's below, they like, okay, all right, boss. All right, boss. I hear you, boss. All right, boss. I hear you. I'm being honest, man. I'm keeping it 100, man. I've been telling people, if you want this MMA shit and you can get it the way it's supposed to be, I'll tell it the way you want it, cool. But a lot of y'all don't know how to break down fights. You know, when it comes to mixed martial arts, y'all just now tagging along, trying to act like the shit is fun. You act like it's nice, and you can report on MMA like you do boxing. I don't give a fuck how many people you know that compete in mixed martial arts. It goes way deeper than that. If you're not taking your ass into a school and listening and watching and attending those boring ass BJJ tournaments to know what the fuck you're watching, don't try to talk to me about what you seen last night, because you couldn't tell me. You don't know what's supposed to happen with a belt level like that and a novice fighter like Carissa Shields. All you're looking at is what you want to happen. You want, just like I did, you wanted Carissa to get back to her feet. But Brittany Elkin was a BJJ competitor, y'all. She's preparing for the Abu Dhabi Combat Club, the ADC Worlds. The ADCC Worlds. And she's going to let Carissa get back to her feet? I put this out there to you. Look at Brittany Elkin's grappling tournaments. Go take a peek. Look at Brittany Elkin's previous fights. Go ahead. Take a look at it. If you want to, get some education, that's surface education. Go look at her fights and then compare her energy to last night. That's all. I salute the GOAT for being undefeated, getting her debut out the way. But what I never try to understand is when people say, I like you report shit to real. Okay, when you report shit to real, I guess it's when it's World Combat. Oh no, he hating. What do you want? You want people to keep it real and they look the certain part and you good? Or you want somebody who's put in a body of work and educated myself to tell you what I think and you respect it? Or if you don't respect it, you still respect me enough for talking on it. I mean, make up your motherfucking mind. We can't go back and forth all the time like, hey, every time it comes up to me talking some shit, because there's not that many channels that talk about MMA and boxing, Muay Thai, grappling, that's done attended grappling tournaments, that's done participated in BJJ, being taught the sport to a point, not to the highest level, but to a point, been choked out, been placed in certain positions. And I'm looking at that ground transition where she was just in full mount, just there, and allowing Carissa the buck. Carissa's trying to buck up out of position for a sweep or something. Like I wasn't expecting Carissa Shields to throw up a submission from the bottom. She's not that versed yet. So she was just there. Even when Carissa Shields' arms were extended above her head, do you know Elkin could have took that motherfucker and snapped it? Easy. It was just green mistakes. Her hand was like above her head. Easily could have set her up for a Kimura. It looked like she was about to do it. She was just doing little shit for the fans. Oh, she might be in trouble. She's working for a Kimura. Nope. The same thing Schultz was in there when it looked like he was attempting that Kimura. No, I think I take that back. It was Chad. Y'all just take a little time to exhale a little bit, because I'm glad y'all was hyped up and tuned in to MMA. I was happy. It was good to see that. But what y'all gonna do next? Are you gonna just tune in when it's a big name? Because it's not gonna be that many big names. I was the one tuned in when Heather Hardy did it. Amanda Serrano did it. Holly Holmes did it. I was there for all that. Some of y'all just picking up on MMA because you can relate to a boxer that's now trying to transition over to mixed martial arts and boxing, mixed martial arts. I'm gonna tell you, that shit will not work up at the highest level. So like I said before, watch the process on how the PFL is going to move Carissa. If they're going to maneuver her and make money off her. Look at the comparisons. The UFC, they would have never did it. Bare knuckle fighting, no. They're not putting you in there with super soft touches. Look what happened to Paige Van Zandt going in there with Brittany Elkin, who is an experienced bare knuckle fighter. Brittany, she didn't beat the brakes off her, but she gave Paige Van Zandt the business. Now, a lot of y'all weren't looking at that because you haven't really paid attention to Paige Van Zandt's fighting skills and Britain Hart. I could have told you. I covered bare knuckle fighting too. I could have told you, and I did tell you that Britain Hart is going to give Paige Van Zandt the business. Now, I think David Feldman, shout out to David Feldman, he's did a great job with bare knuckle fighting, from being sanctioned first in Cheyenne, Wyoming, all the way now to Mississippi and Florida. I mean, they're growing. But now they're going to get Paige Van Zandt and Rachel Ostovich, two pretty women who are on IG all the time to fight in bare knuckle. Pretty decent matchup, but Paige Van Zant should win that bare knuckle fight with Rachel because she has better hands. That's the same way I look at Brittany Elkin and Carissa Shields. I'm gonna give you a perfect example on how this fight should have ended. And I got to bounce. It should have ended just like when we seen Estrada fight Atkins. That mother who came in there and she was 5-0, and she was going in there with the WBC Intercontinental Champion or something like that. I forgot what weight class, women's weight class it was, but she knocked that girl out in under 10 seconds, I believe. When it comes to the ground game, that's exactly how it should have played out, but not in that short of fashion because it's mixed martial arts, okay? But I think if she could have, you see how quick Elkin took down Carissa Shields, it could have ended in under 60 seconds. If she was really aggressive. Look at her videos of her sparring and doing mat time on the promos. Look how aggressive Brittany is, and compare that Brittany to the one you seen last night. It is what it is, shawty. I mean, y'all can take it for what it is, but don't come talking this black shit to me when it comes to talking the shit. Y'all say, oh, let's keep it real. I don't cut corners, but you do. It don't have nothing to do with it. I salute her for, being undefeated. But if you're not going to respect a person who goes to these tournaments and being able to come back and talk my shit, stop getting on here talking about, oh, I like people who keep it real. They're not biased. And then the ones who keeping it real, you say they haters. It's the fact you don't want to hear someone who you thought didn't know shit about the sport, but I do. But I do, man. And it just comes down to the reality of it all. PFL was the right organization for Carissa to join because Dana White never would have did that shit. Scott Coker never would have did that shit. The other organizations, they're not big enough to host a name like Carissa. Right now, PFL has some pretty good names in it to put Carissa where it is. It's just like Triller on how they handling Teofimo Lopez. Their promo game is on point, but that's Teofimo. Don't get it twisted on the performances. I'm talking about the promo. PFL promoted her pretty damn good. They promoted Carissa good, man. Salute. I like it. But y'all just do me a favor. When you start jumping on here talking about fight recap, oh my God, a new MMA star is born. Stop it. She has a long ways to go, man. Y'all better be patient. She has a long ways to go. To the WCS in the chat. Nice win by Carissa Shields. Was impressed, to be honest. So how long do you think she needs to be ready for a fight with the champ? Man, stop it. She's not going into the UFC, Alex. Look, I get these questions, her and Amanda Nunes. All right? In order for Carissa Shields to be ready for Amanda Nunes in a real MMA fight on the level of the UFC, she will have to totally stop boxing and embed herself in training for several years to be able to compete with Amanda Nunes. Period. Even though Amanda's highest weight class is 145. Amanda is a 2-division champ in mixed martial arts. She's much different than Conor McGregor. She's much different. Carissa Shields, unless she comes back in 10 years in an exhibition bout with Amanda Nunes and Amanda's out of the UFC, that's the only way she's getting a fight with Amanda Nunes. Kayla Harrison absolutely would have subbed her out. She would have broke her arm. She wouldn't have broke her arm because Carissa would have tapped. I just want people to have some type of integrity when we're talking about this sport. You want to talk about views? We'll talk about knowledge. If you say you talk this boxing shit, we'll recognize the ones who don't just talk boxing and talk MMA. If you're gonna get on here and talk some bullshit about MMA, then a person like me is gonna be like, man, you on some other shit. You talking on the surface, like you're talking surface media. You're looking at this shit. Oh, she took it to the ground. She got back up. Oh, she tried to armbar. Oh, Carissa got out of it. That's not the way it works. You're not just, look, that armbar was deep for a second in the way she applied it, but she let go. A lot of the times, BJJ practitioners, they're not holding on to shit like this. When they put you in an armbar, it's different. Look, you have to be on that level to be able to counter it. You have to know which way to turn to your opponent. Some people fuck around and turn outside. You know, you have to know how to get up or counter that armbar to stack your opponent. There's so many ways when it comes to the ground game. But Carissa just turned over and stood up. No. No, Shotty. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like it. Looked good. Shout out to Jackson Wink. It looked good. Shout out to Jackson Wink. Let me stop, man. Shout out to Jackson Wink. You know, shout out to John Jones, Holly Holmes. Holly Holmes know what it is. Holly Holmes know what it is, man. Real talk. You think she would have got out of that submission if it was Valentina Shevchenko, the Bullet, the flyweight champion? You think she would have got out? You think Amanda Nunes would have let her? You think Thug Rose Nunez? You think any BJJ practitioner with a purple, the brown belt that's fighting for MMA and the boxer's coming in on her debut, that they're gonna allow her just to stand up like that and break the body lock? It's gonna be that simple? That's de numero uno type shit right there. That's YMCA shit. For her to just, oh, I don't have any energy, stand up. Okay, break my hands, like they do in wrestling. I'm telling you what's about to happen in wrestling. This. They practice this shit. Oh, Carissa, stand up. Break my grip. Turn it to me. Good job. Carissa Shields chose to revisit the guard of a brown belt. She chose to revisit the guard. Once she was out, her team said, move away. Carissa said, no, I'm gonna get on the ground. Okay. She chose to jump in the guard in the third round of a brown belt. A brown belt off their back could have invited Carissa into the open guard. Once she was in the open guard, they could have threw up a triangle, armbar, any type of submission. They could have even worked for a Kimura. It's so many damn subs that could have happened. But it didn't, because Brittany was there to be an opponent. She was there to move around, so to speak. And Carissa jumping in the guard of a brown belt who was just there letting her beat on her. Just like, oh, beat me. Man, y'all know what it is. I'm out.